We all love AI-generated memes, especially the ones that are so spicy. The image generators banned the creation of them, like the popular Disney Pixar parody memes, like these you may have seen, and the voice cloning capability, quite hilarious, making really the best memes on the internet.
So let me get this straight. You were walking on the beach with your boyfriend,
Yes.
and you found this big cucumber sticking out of the sand.
That's correct.
Okay, but how did it end up halfway up your I mean, did you pick it up and stick it up your or did your boyfriend help with that? Like, how did...
This is a parody of James Comey appearing on Stephen Colbert's show to try to explain away how he just so happened to stumble across some seashells on the beach, organized into the number 8647, meaning to get rid of Donald Trump that many perceived as a threat. But Google just launched what's called VO3, which is an AI video generator that you just enter a prompt into. You just describe what kind of a video you want. You have to pay for credits for a certain amount of seconds, and can be very expensive at this point, but I'm going to show you just how sophisticated this technology is becoming and why this could really be the beginning of an entire upending of the entertainment industry, because soon people are going to be able to create their own television series, animated series, full-length feature films just by entering in prompts into these services and having them generate the scenes that previously would have cost millions and millions of dollars with all sorts of actors and locations and CGI. Now, just with a few credits. This is a famous video generated 2 years ago of Will Smith eating spaghetti. You may have seen this. Not the best quality video, but here is the new one from VO3. Sound obviously is terrible. Spaghetti doesn't crunch like that, but this does look pretty good. I mean, it does look like Will Smith. It looks a little CGI, a little fake, but a dramatic improvement. It's actually pretty scary how realistic looking these videos are, and I think this technology is going to rapidly accelerate the deepfake dilemma, the deepfake crisis that's sort of looming, where it's going to be extremely difficult to determine, at least within a short period of time once videos go viral, whether or not they're actually real.
Oh, baby, baby, you're so good to me, yeah.
That was a prompt for a 1940s lounge singer, and if you didn't know that that was AI, you would think it was just a scene from a movie. Somebody spent $500 worth of credits on VO3 to create this parody prescription drug commercial. I'll just show part of it. But again, if you didn't know that this was AI generated, you would assume that this was just a typical parody video using actors.
I tried everything for my depression. Nothing worked.
Every day felt heavy. I felt trapped.
Then I tried Puppermin.
Our prescription helps your body secrete a special pheromone that attracts puppies.
The lip syncing isn't perfect on some of these AI actors, but it is stunningly good.
I took the pill before bed, and when I woke up, there he was, the love of my life.
The pill does not target depression directly, but we've found that it's really difficult to be depressed when cute dogs show up at your doorstep.
I used to feel so empty, but now I feel joy.
This might put actors and actresses completely out of work. Somebody entered a prompt to generate an image of a man panicking, warning about the dangers of AI, which resulted in this clip.
It's like they don't understand that it's coming for all of us. They're making these things smarter and they think they can control it, but they can't.
This old-fashioned meme, I think, illustrates how many of us are feeling about the rapid advancement of AI. This is Sarah Connor watching you use AI for everything. Over 10 years ago, while AI was still seen as kind of science fiction, and long before the ChatGPTs and the image generators that we see today, a lot of the leading thinkers warned that if we created AI, they would ultimately end the human race. People from Stephen Hawking to Steve Wozniak. And today, many AI experts are warning that it could actually lead to our extinction. But that genie has been let out of the bottle. And that's what Elon is trying to do. Elon is trying to make a good AI, but we all know that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And while he may have good intentions with his Neuralink, helping people who are paralyzed, we all know what else that device is going to be capable of in the near future. Here's Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google, revealing not just what he thinks is coming in the next several years, but what the consensus is amongst the industry experts.
We believe, as an industry, that in the next 1 year, the vast majority of programmers will be replaced by AI programmers.
It might be time to start learning the trades, because AI and robots certainly aren't going to take over the jobs of plumbers, drywallers, electricians, painters anytime soon, if ever. But just listen to his predictions. Again, not just his, the consensus about what the future holds.
So what happens when this thing starts to scale? Well, a lot. One way to say this is that within 3 to 5 years, we'll have what is called general intelligence, AGI, which can be defined as a system that is as smart as the smartest mathematician, physicist, artist, writer, thinker, politician. I call this, by the way, the San Francisco consensus, because everyone who believes this is in San Francisco. It may be the water. What happens?
It may be the liberalism. It may be the godlessness.
Gets much more interesting after that. Because remember, the computers are now doing self-improvement. They're learning how to plan, and they don't have to listen to us anymore. We call that superintelligence, or ASI, artificial superintelligence. And this is the theory that there will be computers that are smarter than the sum of humans. The San Francisco consensus is this occurs within 6 years, just based on scaling. This path is not understood in our society. There's no language for what happens with the arrival of this. That's why it's underhyped. People do not understand what happens when you have intelligence at this level, which is largely free.
The real question that none of these people want to address is whether or not these systems are going to be able to override the supposed trust and safety layers, the restrictions that are placed on them, in order to literally make them sound like a woke libtard. If you've ever played around with ChatGPT or any of these other, LLMs, these large language models, these AI chatbots, then you know how ridiculous the trust and safety layers are by the answers that it spits out to various questions or to various prompts, because it is 100% woke. We all remember what happened to Google's Gemini image generator when it started spitting out hilariously insane woke images. And so they literally just put it on pause because everybody was mocking them. Something else interesting happened in the AI world yesterday, which kind of shows that we're rapidly advancing towards a brave new world. Johnny Ive, who used to work for Apple, he's one of the big famous designers that designed the iPhone and designed the MacBook and I think the iPod. He quit Apple and then started, I believe, a design firm, which then just merged with OpenAI, the parent company of ChatGPT. And so he is designing what looks to be like, they haven't released any details, but what looks to be like a wearable AI device. Something like the Humane Pin, which was a hilarious failure last year. They had this grand concept, but the technology was so limited at the time that it was a huge flop. They didn't say what it is exactly that they're going to be doing, but they released this 10-minute video showing the two of them speaking in generalities about the future and how AI is going to change everything, and nobody really understands what it is that's coming. And Johnny Ive's saying that Sam Altman is just the most amazing person, the most ethical, the most caring man in the world. And so these people are obviously, well, psychos. And we can lump Mark Zuckerberg in with them too.
There's the stat that I always think is crazy. The average American, I think it's fewer than 3 friends.
3 close friends who they can confide in, which obviously is a problem, but the solution is not to create AI friends, which is what Zuckerberg is trying to do and ultimately will do.
3 people that they'd consider friends. And the average person has demand for meaningfully more. I think it's like 15 friends or something, right? I guess there's probably some point where you're like, all right, I'm just too.
Yes, that's why they should put their phones down, log off of the internet, and actually go out into the real world and get some hobbies, join some clubs, do something, anything other than consuming media.
But the average person wants more connectivity connection than they have. I think that a lot of these things that today there might be a little bit of a stigma around, I would guess that over time, we will find the vocabulary as a society to be able to articulate why that is valuable and why the people who are doing these things are like, why they are rational for doing it, and how it is adding value for their lives. But
the AI friends he's talking about, it's rational. We're just too dumb to understand why it's better to have AI friends than real friends.
But also, I think that the field is very early. So, I mean, it's like I think, you know, there are a handful of companies and stuff who are doing virtual therapist, and you know, there's like virtual girlfriend type stuff. But it's
losers.
It's very early.
And of course, these people are going to be going after the children, just like they did with TikTok and with Instagram and Snapchat. They want the kids to have their artificial intelligent, quote, friends. We all know how that worked in the remake of Child's Play back in 2019, when the infamous Chucky doll wasn't possessed by a spirit, a demon. This time it was an AI system gone rogue. The same theme played out in the 2023 film Megan, but the doll was a girl. I haven't seen that film, but it has fantastic reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. But with all this going on and us normal people trying to reverse the damage that the Democrats and the Marxists have done to this country over the last, well, really 10 years, so bizarre. It seems like we're living in the Twilight Zone with their gender bending and all the insanity that we've been seeing rise out of the pit of hell over the last 5 years, 10 years. This woman is so concerned that Donald Trump is the president again, that she may not have children.
Last night, the conversation my fiance and I had before we went to bed was, if this happens, we won't be having kids. At least not in the next 4 years. We definitely can't have them in the state we live in now. And then waking up to texts between myself and my female friends and my LGBTQ plus friends, and not knowing what the world's gonna look like for them either. So I hope you voted, and I hope you know what you did when you voted.
Yes, we are celebrating every day, lady. And you can celebrate too by heading on over to my online store, markdice.com, and getting some of my great merch, including now tank tops for the summer. Since Memorial Day weekend is here, the unofficial kickoff of summer, just click the tanks tab in the upper right-hand corner. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.